The Hills Have Eyes is a 1977 horror film written and directed by Wes Craven. It stars Susan Lehner, Michael Berryman, and Dee Wallace. Believe it or not, Wes Craven actually helped direct a porno before this, and used the money from that to help fund this. Anyway, let's get started. The premise of this film centers on the Carter family who are passing through the Nevada desert trying to get to San Diego. Eventually, they get a flat tire and are left stranded in the middle of nowhere. And eventually one of the dogs literally runs for the hills, and is unfortunately found murdered moments later. So yeah, the film does have some animal cruelty, just as a heads up. So eventually, they realize that a family of cannibals is hiding amongst the hills, and has their sights set on them. Now, this setup isn't that uncommon in the world of horror. Your car breaking down, or in this case, getting a flat tire in the worst possible situation. However, the way it is executed is pretty damn scary. This is one of Craven's earlier works, which I feel is when he was at his most grim, and throwing an everyday American family into this mess is pretty nerve-wracking, since you can understand the fear they have for each other because of it. The family in this fights not only for their lives, but also for each other. Hell, the remaining dog even gets involved. That's right, the dog even gets a few bites in, and it is soon revealed the family of cannibals has caused a lot of trouble for the locals at the nearest gas pump, so they soon get their help as well. But the cannibals are hell-bent on getting them, and soon prove to be a very deadly challenge. This story as a whole is also a fantastic survival horror film, since it places its characters in a situation where very little resources are available, and they have to rely on their instincts to survive. I give the premise a B+. One we've seen before, but thankfully plays out in the most epic and surprisingly horrifying way. Next is acting. Acting in this movie was pretty good. Some of the best performances, I think, came from the cannibals, since you really got an idea of how crazy they were from their performances. But the terror Dee Wallace demonstrated, especially during this scene where the two lead cannibals come in and terrorize her and the other female character, I forget her name, and take the baby, felt so real that I was genuinely nervous as to what could possibly happen to the three of them because of it. Definitely more anxious seen to their performances. I give acting an A-, probably the best part of the movie along with the way it plays out. Now, cinematography was alright. There really isn't much to say on it since there really wasn't anything too impressive. It did have some creepy night shots. Other than that, nothing too special. I give cinematography a B-. Not bad, but decent at least. Finally, directing. Wes Craven did a fantastic job of taking a very simple, common horror setup and expanding on it in the most frightening way possible. Because while we have seen it all before, the rest of the movie is a high-octane murder fest that will have you on the edge of your seat. Craven took an impressively edgy route with this movie due to how little he was afraid to kill off the most innocent of characters, which makes it quite possibly his most grisly film. I give directing an A. Very gripping direction Craven took. Overall, The Hills Have Eyes is a very underrated Wes Craven movie that I sadly don't hear talked about as much as his other movies such as Scream or A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hell, I think The Last House on the Left is talked about more. Anyway, I give The Hills Have Eyes an A-. It managed to be surprisingly scary in a lot of ways due to the execution as well as performances. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and sub for more content.